I'm Allegra Oxborough. I'm the co-writer of Nothing to Hide. And Nothing to Hide is the grand prize winner of ISA's Table Read My Screenplay Can. And we just got done with the amazing table read, which was very much like a one-act play, amazing direction by Paul Lindsay, fabulous performance by an incredible cast, and I'm just so honored and grateful and a little bit blown away to have seen it. Yeah, I really like telling stories of the interior world, and that's not very specific, but I like to watch characters in pressure cooker environments, sort of dealing with things that we deal with as humans, and I like to find the humor and absurdity in the kind of oversized emotions and experiences that we feel. So I really like anxiety. I really like the kind of like stupid decisions that we make out of a place of anxiety and fear, and all of the totally natural things that humans feel. So I kind of I wouldn't say that there's a genre to that exactly, but if there is, maybe anxiety comedy. I'm pretty new to screenplay contests, and I didn't go to film school. I haven't had formal education, so I've used contests to get feedback and interaction with my work. And as a writer, sometimes, especially not coming out of a school program, it's hard to find a writing community or people with industry expertise who can kind of view my work from an industry perspective. I think that competitions are a really useful way to engage with objective, or not necessarily objective, but somebody who has an expertise and a background and a sort of depth of knowledge of screenwriting that I don't have. And I think that it's been, I mean, obviously it's also been like a really fruitful way to find community. With this project in particular, I've been able to meet so many other filmmakers, writers, and artists by winning the competition, which is just like a gift. A friend of mine, I believe that she was in consideration or accepted to the ISA development slate, and that kind of put the ISA on my radar. And so I just kind of was tuning in and seeing what was available. And then Nothing to Hide, this project already had a pitch slot. It's in development now, and so we're pitching to producers and potential financiers next week here at Cannes. And so, yeah, the opportunity for a table read seemed like a perfect fit, and that's why I ended up submitting. I was in Liverpool doing a house sit, and so it was late. It was like maybe 8 or 9 at night, and I got a message from the ISA team saying, hey, we want to chat with you. Like, do you have time to Zoom in the next hour or something? And this was like morning Pacific time. And I put on a blazer and hopped on Zoom and like turned on some lights in the room and tried to like, and I didn't really know if, I knew I was going to be talking about the project, but I didn't know that we were this close to them announcing or anything like that. So I wasn't expecting. I was able to talk with the team about the project and some of the writing that I had done since my submission. And then Paul Lindsay, the director of the table read, held up a sign at some point that said, "Parlez-vous français?" And I kind of was like, started sweating and like blushing, and I was like, what's happening? Is this happening? And so it was really incredible. And of course, I had a really hard time falling asleep that night because I was so excited. Well, I haven't directed for stage at all, so it was really fun. It was really cool collaboration. It was great to watch him do his thing and think about blocking and the confines of space and the need to project and convey in a totally different way than we do for the camera. And it was nice to just be in a support role for his interpretation and be able to break down this script in some different ways and add and change things specifically for stage. So that was really fun. And I also think working with him and the actors so closely in such a concentrated time allowed me to just like dive so deeply into these characters in a way that I've done over a span of time, but it was just like really cool to be on the boat with these characters at the bachelorette party, which is where it takes place. So yeah, it was really fun. It was an incredible cast, and particularly the sisters who are on this journey in the script. The sisters are Alana and Sophie, and they were played by Elena and Emma. And Emma Scottson and Elena Hollander became sisters. It was incredible. It was very moving. And I had done a table read in my apartment with friends several months ago, but to be able to watch, not just hear the words, but watch them form the relationship of sisters over just a course of a few days, and really we were all moved to tears many times. It was incredible, and I think it was really useful for me moving forward with the script. The dynamics were so fun and sometimes surprising. I mean, I of course have the version in my head that's on paper, but to see the dynamics come to life in real time, in real space, between a pretty large cast that's kind of trapped on a boat together, was really fun, funny, surprising. Yeah, I think the cast did an incredible job of understanding what was on the page and also bringing themselves to it in a really beautiful, really satisfying way. I started in documentary radio, and I just loved editing, and I loved taking raw dialogue and words and forming a story around that, and that actually led me into fiction writing. So the first couple of shorts that I did were an exploration of moving from documentary into fiction space, and I kind of learned to write through listening to real people. So I write, I direct, I edit. Editing is also a writing process for me. I think it is for a lot of people, but I love editing. And I've just out of necessity kind of learned DSLR filmmaking and a bit of lighting, and I try to have a basic sense of how all of the different components work. I'm also I have a background making music, so I'm very sound oriented. I think film is such a great place to play with all of these different mediums, and at the same time, you can't do it all yourself, and having a team is the best thing in the world and the best part of making films. So this particular project was such a gift at this stage of having the writing, having the vision. I have a dossier I'm ready to pitch to direct this project. And normally you don't get the chance to workshop it and work with actors at this stage, so it's pretty special. Yeah. I used to really question whether I wanted to go back to film school, and I think it was about 12 years ago that I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker, and I was younger then, and I probably, it wouldn't have been the craziest thing to go back to film school. But I just started making films instead, and I think that for me, that's been a wonderful way to learn. And so I think formal education is awesome and wonderful, and I think it's, probably the right path for a lot of people. But my advice would be, you can also learn a lot by just doing it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, and each time you do it, it'll become more honed in and closer to whatever your natural, authentic voice is, and that's what we're trying to do as artists, is identify what makes our voice unique. Oh, absolutely submit to this contest. I mean, there's the option to get feedback, which I think is valuable at any stage of writing, whether you're at an early draft or late draft. And then if you win, I mean, you get to see your work come to life. And I think there's some awesome prizes in between, not getting selected and winning the grand prize too. So I think it's a great way to also become part of the ISA community, which for me feels very friendly, welcoming, and supportive.